Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are back with another episode of Daily Palantir. On today's show, we've got two big things to discuss. Number one, Palantir and Germany. Complicated relationship. We're dating for a bit. Germany broke up with us. Palantir said you'd probably be coming back. Germany might be coming back. We're going to talk about this new Germany update with Palantir. Got a brand new contract, a lot to break down. Number two, Dan Ives upgrades the stock to $50, highest price target on the street. Lot to get into. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about the Dan Ives upgrade. I'll probably go more in depth on it tomorrow with the entire crew on Palantir Weekly. I just want to show a little bit of what the stock has done today. It was an exciting market open if you were part of that stream. And then we'll go on to the big Germany news of the day. And again, tomorrow on Palantir Weekly, 11 p.m. Eastern, we will discuss more in depth what that price target means, the implications, the numbers behind all that stuff, and keep going from there. So on the actual stock itself, today was a fun day. We got to a high of $29.83. We were 17 cents away from the elusive $30, and we didn't end up getting there, but we topped out at $29.83, up from $28.01 in the morning, and now we're at $28.54. So we're up on the day 1.1%, probably going to close above $28.50 or at least $28.20, which is going to be a great close again in this range. Why did we go up? Well, we went up because someone named Dan Ives, who has been the most bullish on Palantir on the street, had a $35 price target for the past couple months, and it's been one of the highest price targets on the street. He said today, hey, I think the AI monetization for Palantir is not stopping. I believe it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and as it gets bigger, that means that we're probably going to have to price in a little bit more growth for Palantir. So this is the tweet he put out today right here. With AI spending taking up more spending in IT budgets as more organizations learn how to properly implement this technology, we believe the Messi of AI Palantir is in a prime spot to continue expanding its pipeline as AIP is front and center. New bull case target is $50. $50 implies a 1-year price target, so we should be expecting in a year, July 2025, for Palantir to be around $50, which is kind of his core thesis right now. He put out some other stuff in his research note, but really all of it comes down to there's trillions of dollars of opportunity in the enterprise. AI monetization is starting, meaning from semis and AI infrastructure hardware build out, we are starting to see the software side of it pick up. That's his internal checks at Wedbush. And as a result of that, we should see more momentum in the broader context of AIP and monetization. Will that happen? I don't know. We're going to have to see what Palantir puts up for Q2. Again, on Palantir Weekly, we'll discuss more in depth what it means from a valuation numbers perspective. But in general, I mean, $50, I think a year from now is not crazy as long as the growth is there to back it up. So if we can get the growth to back it up, I think the momentum will be there. The street giving it a premium today, now coming down as the entire market taking a little bit of a tumble today. S&P down another 1%. It was down 1% yesterday. So Palantir still green on a relatively red day. But it was very green in the morning as the entire market was up. I do think that upgrade had a little bit to do with Palantir going even higher at $29.83, up almost 6% on the day. But in general, Palantir, even in this 27, 29 range, I've been saying every day on the show, it's very, very exciting that we're maintaining these levels, holding a base. And now after Q2 earnings, we're going to see how Palantir ultimately goes from there. Okay, Germany. It's time to talk about it. This is very exciting. Found out about this news yesterday. I tweeted about it, so if you follow on Twitter, that'll be in the description. You probably were able to see the details of this news. I'm going to link the article, which comes from a Bavarian source, because this is in the state of Bavaria in Germany, for you guys to go to the actual source. But these are the key points from the source, and I want to break it down and then discuss it. So, Germany has approved the use of Palantir for police in the state of Bavaria. Some key points from the deal. The Parliament of the state of Bavaria has approved the changes to the Police Tasks Act. Bavaria is one of the largest states in Germany, not by population, but by landmass. Bavaria has been piloting Palantir software in the police department since March of 2023, but today officially got approval to use it legally. So we've been in Bavaria for a long time. I've known about Bavaria and the Palantir, I guess you could call it pilot or troubles that they've been having to really work with them legally over the past couple of years. But this approval of the Police Tasks Act officially got the deal done. We're going to talk about why they did the approval, but that was very important because now Palantir can be used in a legal capacity. Now, the Bavarian data protection officer, Thomas Petri, was one of the reasons why Palantir was not able to be used over the past couple of years. He is not a fan of Palantir, and he was part of the reason they couldn't get legal approval. In May of 2021, He called the use of Palantir highly problematic, primarily because of the ties between Peter Thiel, Trump. They thought it's going to steal your data, all that stuff. The Palantir platform would not create or collect new data, but would evaluate existing data for about 40 million people. And Bavaria will pay 5.4 million euros, and the annual cost of operating the system is 500,000 euros. Palantir is back in Germany. Before I get into my analysis, one quick clip of Karp talking for 40 seconds about what the issues are in Germany, which I think will create some context around why getting this contract is so important.
You know, I said this before, I'm just quoting myself, which is always obnoxious. Germany has one of the best tech scenes in the world. It's just in Canada and Silicon Valley. It's not in Germany. You change that. And by the way, there's the sense of urgency. You know, it's not there. And instead of getting people who are creative and interesting, you have too many consultants, too much money, and these copies of American tech companies. What does it say about this incredible culture that, you know, there's the people who are creative and tolerant and interesting are building some of the best companies in Canada and America, and you get these, you know, not always, but often third-rate copies of a wonderfully interesting company, and billions of dollars in spend. You know, I said this before.
So right there, Karp is basically critiquing the broader efforts in Germany of developing a tech sector that they have failed to develop. And his argument is like, hey, this is the problem. Like, you've got all these talented German people. It's not like people in Germany aren't talented, but they're going to other places to build their companies because Germany is not creating the environment for tech to succeed. This has been the problem with Palantir's international expansion efforts for the past couple of years now. So Palantir internationally, particularly in the government sector and the commercial sector, but government is a bit more important here, has really not done well. International government growth is not strong. The United States commercial growth obviously is the most strong, and the UK internationally and along with Japan have been the only two markets we've really been able to capture. South Korea is up there as well. But broader ambitions around the world, we get some contracts from Estonia and Finland and Lithuania, but we're not talking about massive government penetration across all of Europe. And one of the countries that has been incredibly important to attack, given that Karp got his PhD from that country, he knows that country very well, he can speak the language, is Germany. If there was anyone that can speak to the German people about GDPR, data privacy, protection, regulations, all the stuff that matters to not only the German public, but the European regulator base, it would be Alex Karp. We are the opposite. Palantir is the opposite of stealing your data and harvesting your data. That is what big tech does. That is not what Palantir does. But the Peter Thiel, Donald Trump association, secret black box stuff, that association is real, and that's not been able to go away for a long time. That's why this deal was important. The Bavarian police, essentially, this is my hypothesis based on reading the article that came out yesterday for Palantir getting this deal, looked at the parliament, and when the parliament, which are members that have to ultimately vote yay or nay on this Police Tasks Act, I am assuming they talked to the policemen and they said, hey, what do you think we should do? Do you think we should vote for the software or not? And I would imagine in that moment, the police looked those politicians dead in the eye and they said, we need help. And either you're going to give us your own software that you're going to build for us, you're going to give us some German company software, or you're going to let us use what we've been piloting for almost a year and a half now, and we just need to get to work. But you've got to get something done because this is getting ridiculous. And I think at that moment, the Bavarian parliament asked themselves a simple question, which was, why are we so afraid of using Palantir? Why are we not using Palantir? Who has been against Palantir? What is the sort of bureaucratic reason why Palantir has not been implemented? And if it's 5.4 million euros, which is nothing, that is literally pennies, why the hell aren't we doing this? And so I think this is why the deal is very important. Palantir wants to expand in Germany. They want to expand in the international markets. They have this horrible black box kind of notion about them that's starting to deteriorate, but it's still there. Getting contracts like this, which is it's a nothing contract to me monetarily. 5 million euros is nothing. It's good, but it's not what Palantir wants. I'm assuming Palantir said, hey, we'll basically do it for whatever because we just want to prove value. We want to get in. We want to show you it works. We want it to become so sticky that you can never imagine getting rid of us or using something else. And then we'll charge you $20 million in a couple years. But right now, I think Palantir's ambition is we got to get in. We got to get the job done, and we got to get rid of this black box notion that's associated around us. And the easiest way to do that is to let them use the product. But if we overcharge them right now to try to use the product, then that's just going to create too much friction. This deal matters. If Palantir can get Bavaria, which is one state in Germany, could they get Berlin? Could they get Munich? Could they get Stuttgart? You didn't think I knew, too many German states, but my geographic understanding of Germany. I've actually been to Germany before in Stuttgart. is getting up there. I'm learning more about the Hamburg. Did you guys know the hamburger comes from Hamburg, Germany? I didn't know that. I thought it came from like Texas in the United, but I was corrected on my market open stream. So the point is, if Palantir can get the broader ecosystem of Germany to adopt their software, Germany increased their national defense budget spend by about $100 billion last year after Ukraine, or a year and a half ago after Ukraine. After the Russia-Ukraine situation broke out. So from that perspective, it's like, well, wait a second. Germany's got the money. We know they want to spend. We know they're willing to spend on defense and technology. The question becomes, who are they going to spend that money on? For 2 years, Alex Karp, in the earnings calls, by the way, has been pleading for Germany and France to start working with them. Alex Karp went so far to be like, hey, France, you can try to build your own Palantir, but you're not going to be able to do it. I mean, quite prophetically, Karp has said, these countries that think they can get the job done, they're not going to get the job done. And this policy, this contract that was passed yesterday, to me, it's so important because it is signaling the truth of what Karp was saying, which is that Germany can't do it on their own. France also is inevitably probably going to come back to Palantir because they can't do it on their own. I mean, the beautiful thing about Palantir is that when Karp says we're building software that is better than everyone else in the world, he means it. So if Palantir is able to expand and actually get the job done in Germany, just in the Bavarian police department, the question is going to be, what else can they do? Can they help this part of Germany? Can they help that part of Germany? Can they help the German military? They're already working with the Ministry of Defense in Ukraine, and that came, and the Ministry of Defense in the United Kingdom. That came all from them being able to work with other parts of the country. The Ministry of Digital Retransformation in Ukraine, and then the other part in the UK was the NHS. So when they go to one sector of a country, they're able to get to another sector of a country because the first sector worked well and they provided value. Again, in the NHS, they had their first contract was £1, and then the NHS realized, hell, maybe we should like give them £20 million and then £30 million, and then we ended up getting £450 million. So it just seems like the inevitable growth curve of software that is fundamentally superior to other pieces of software is land, get the job done, provide value, and then expand into different sectors of that government. But you got to get in there in the first place. And so today's contract to me is so important because we finally got a real contract in Bavaria, small contract monetarily, but that is irrelevant. What's relevant is that they're ready to use us to manage 40 million people's data to be able to help the police department. I think if Palantir can do a good job here, Karp can then get on earnings calls and say, hey, look, I know our international government growth isn't the best, but we just won this contract. This is important. We're on the verge of winning other contracts, and we're starting to show our value. And just like what happened in U.S. commercial, where everyone realized we were the real deal, that is happening internationally. These NATO countries have a lot of money. They want to spend a lot of money on defense. They need to get everything digitally transformed. AI is becoming a tailwind for all of them. That is where the bull case is. That is why this Bavarian State Police Department contract is just hopefully the beginning of Palantir's expansion throughout all of Europe. All right, that's it for me. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. DailyPalantir.substack.com. If you're not subscribed to my free email newsletter, let me know what you think about Palantir getting into Germany. And also, if you're from Germany, please leave a comment below. And if you could give a little bit of an understanding of how you think people think about Palantir in the country, that would be very helpful as well. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.